Hello Skywalker X7 fans, it's time for another build update. It's pretty cold weather outside now, winter time here in Sweden, so not such good weather to go flying, so it's been much more time in the man cave fixing with stuff. So since my last build video, I've just stripped out absolutely everything and rebuilt inside, so this video is going to cover what I've been up to. You see two Turnigy 5000 milliamp hour batteries here, 4S batteries. I'm now capable of having 10,000 milliamps in the X7, and I'll show you how I've done that. You'll see a hole here in the front. I'll come to that in a minute. Let's start here at the back. So inside, what you'll see now. If you've got an X7, you'll know that it's not standard what you're seeing right now. I've made some component bays on my CNC machine. Two of them. They look like this. I can make some if you guys are interested. Just leave me a comment. It's just simple 4mm ply here, and I've cut them out in my CNC machine. And these ones fit inside nicely. You just need to bend the foam back a little bit just to squeeze them in, and then what I've done is I've just put hot glue down the sides and that holds them pretty firmly in place. They rest up a little bit off the floor, so there's an opportunity to run all of the wires underneath and everything and have them coming up. And then it's just simple zip ties here just to hold the components on the component trays. Then I got another tray here, and that's for holding the second battery. So that's this one here. It goes this way. It actually fits in the existing. If you look at where the front carbon fiber strut is, it fits just on top of that, just on that little ledge there. But what I've had to do from the original is I've had to, just focus here a little bit, I've had to cut a little bit of the foam away so I could fit the battery inside. So probably around about here upwards I've cut out just a square so that the battery can slide in from the front, and then just fasten it here with a Velcro strap. So that's what it looks like as well. I can cut these as a kit if you're interested. As I say, just leave a comment and I can cut a couple of stuff and cut them and send them if you want to, for a small fee obviously, just to cover the costs. So coming back into here, it's going to be a bit difficult to see, but underneath this one there's a component tray in the front. Obviously the hole for mounting a downward facing camera, I've plugged that up and hot glued it in place because I'm just not going to use it. I got another idea for looking downwards. I'll show you that later. So in the front here I've got my Eagle Tree data logger, e-logger, sorry, version 4. And that's just using the Dean's connector types, and the wires are going through the front. I've cut a little slot underneath the carbon fiber strut here for the wires to go at the front to connect to the batteries. Then I've mounted I got the Guardian here, so I've gone for the Eagle Tree stuff as you've seen before. So I got the Guardian mounted here. This line here is just for where I'm mounting this 5000 milliamp battery. This is just the guide of where I'm where it's going to be to have the CG right. I've mounted the Guardian here on some double-sided sticky foam, just a couple of layers, just to take care of the underside's not flat on this, so you have to make this little cutout here so that it sits flat. Now the CG of the plane is probably around about here So the Guardian is just a little bit behind the CG, but I've flown this now in this configuration, and it works perfectly fine. So it's okay for it to be back here. Then going back onto the, actually, first of all, jump the gun. So underneath here, you probably can't see it, but what I've got is a voltage regulator, because obviously the 4S batteries are 14.8 volt, and my video transmitter is 12 volt. So I have a voltage regulator here to step down to 12 volts, and that's coming out here. So when I plug in the wings, I've got my video transmitter out on one of the wings. Then I plug a servo connector here to supply 12 volts. So that's hidden away underneath here. I never really have to have access to that. It's just to supply 12 volts. Then I have a UBEC. Through experience, I think it's much better not to use the 5 volts from the ESC, but to have a separate UBEC. It's just safer. And then I got a switch here. Let's see, I got a switch there just to be able to switch on and off the flight systems. So I can connect the batteries in the front, and then when I'm ready, I can just switch on this bay, switch on this switch, and close this bay, and then we're ready to go. So all the connections and everything, apart from the batteries, all the connections for everything are done in this rear bay now. So when I connect my wings, I'm running Dragon Link, so I've drilled another hole here for my Dragon Link receiver cable, and then that's just going to go through this hole and then connect to the Dragon Link receiver here. Then obviously the original servo connector hole to go out to the left elevon. So that's the front tray. Starting to go back more towards the back tray now. First of all, I've mounted my ESC here, just to have a bit of what do you say, ventilation, heat dissipation, and so on. It'd be outside of the fuselage, and that works very well. I don't have any heat problems with my ESC at all. And I've just secured those. I just cut some holes here and secured it with zip ties just on the cables, so that holds that nicely in place. And I got with it sitting here with the length of the cables towards the motor, it fits just nice there. So you may want to try that technique if you want to. So now going on to the rear bay, talked about the Dragon Link receiver, and then I have the Eagle 3 OSD Pro. All the connections are, all the wires are just stuffed in the back there, so it's just a case of if I want to change anything, just unclip these, cut these tie wraps off, and then I can just lift this out and play around with the cables and then shove it all back in here. I mean, it's not so tidy, but yeah, it's pretty functional doing it like that. You can see video out here. So again, when I plug in, when I'm going to plug in the right hand side wing, if we stand here now, what I have done is I have cut another hole here to allow 2 servo connectors to come through here, and those servo connectors, one is going to be for the video out of the video transmitter, and another one's going to be for the 12 volt to power the video transmitter. So they go through those holes and plug into those servo extension connectors, and then obviously the standard hole that's existing there already for the right elevon servo. So that's pretty much it. As I say, everything plugs in here. Right elevon servo, left elevon servo, video transmitter, so on, Dragon Link, So it all plugs in here, yeah, then I'm ready to go. What you'll also notice here is I got one of these buzzers. Just cut a hole with a Dremel in the foam, and then just glued it from the other side, so it's poking out here. So yeah, if plane goes down somewhere and I need to find it, I can activate a switch. I've also got it on fail-safe as well, but I can activate a switch that makes this sound, and it's pretty loud. I'm sure I can hear it from several hundred meters away, although I don't really want to test it out. It's not the original motor, but this is the same motor as I've had in one of my previous videos. I've gone for this Turnigy 790 kV. On flying it with a 10,000 milliamps, the total weight, it was 3.15 kilo. I think this motor is just a little bit underpowered. I probably could go a couple of hundred kVs higher, but I need to investigate that. Anyway, I can hand launch this with 10,000, and I can cruise at 12.5 amps as opposed to 7 amps with just 5,000. So it's okay. Not the best of power, not going to do anything mega aerobatic or anything like that, but if you want a long range, just steady flying, it seems to be pretty efficient. But I'm sure there's people who are more better at understanding motors than I am. Anyway, so going to the top here, I've put in a strobe light at the top. I've also got one on the bottom where you could mount the downward facing camera. The same one here. This is from Hobby King. Pretty bright. Works really well. And then I've got the GPS for the Eagle Tree system. And what I've done is I just cut down a little bit more just to sink in and make it a bit more flush. And then I just put this white insulation tape on. And then here what I've done is I've just cut a hole in the side and taken a USB extension cable. So here in the back you'll see the USB port from the e-logger. I just run an extension cable up here so I can, once I've come back home and want to see my flight data and so on, yeah, I don't have a hassle of trying to stick a USB connector in there, so just put it up here. Right, going on to the front, yeah, I cannibalized in here. I had a 360 degree mount in here for my GoPro camera, and I've decided to do something a little bit different here. You might be interested in that. Again, playing with my CNC machine, I'll show you that in a minute. But anyway, just get this out of the way. In the front here, what I have is some industrial strength Velcro that I bought off of eBay. And what I've done is, now that it's getting a bit colder actually, I noticed that it didn't stick so well as it did in the summertime. It was pretty tough, to be honest. But now what I've done is I've just put hot glue underneath and just stuck that down. Yeah, it's not going to come up now. I got 2 connectors here because now I'm going to run these two batteries. So I just made a simple connector just to put them in parallel, not in series, but in parallel, so I get double the capacity, not double the voltage. And yeah, I just plug these in here. Again, if I lose this plane, I would like somebody to unplug the batteries, so just thinking a little bit of safety there. Hopefully I don't move the plane. Then these three wires here. One's for the pan, another one is for the tilt, and another one is for the video out from the camera. And so I've now started to experiment with pan and tilt. So yeah, anyway, let's go back to the batteries. So one battery is going to go in roughly about here and just sticks down the Velcro and then plugs that in. Then this other battery, what I do is I slide it through that hole there and mount it using the Velcro. So quite simple. And cutting it like this means that it's actually secured at the front as well as at the back. I don't do fancy acrobatic maneuvers, you know, loops and rolls and everything like that. This plane, it's pretty heavy at 3.15 kilo, so it's not an acrobatic bird at all. And this battery is pretty damn secure inside there. I really have to put some force to slide it in there and strap it down. So it's good. And the CG is perfect by doing it here. What I have done just to help myself out a little bit is I put some CG marks in here. I've got a couple. If I'm running, well, the way I had it set up before, if I was running just one battery, then the battery was quite far forward. But with two batteries, I've had to slide this one quite a bit back, and the mark is down here on this side. So this is roughly where it goes in the bay, quite far back, and then this one fits against this line there, and yeah. So that's pretty much the position of where the batteries are on the plane. Yep. So that is how you can set up your X7 to hold 10,000 milliamps of 4S battery. As I said, if you're interested and you want to have these component bays in the battery tray, just let me know. But if you want to make them yourself, what have I got here? 75 mil wide by, what should I say, long by 125, and then just cut something out so that you can strap your components down, or just use Velcro or something. And then this one is, let's see now, I can't really remember, I got it on my CAD. It's 170 mil by no, this probably has to, I think it's 58 mil wide. And then what I've done is I've just cut two holes in it just to take the weight down a little bit. These really don't weigh that much, but they're pretty strong. So if you want to make them yourself, those are the measurements. And again, these just fit in, just slide them in, and you just have to pull this foam a little bit away to get it down. And then it sort of rests on, there's this ledge here. If you look in the middle, it sort of slopes up and then out, and it just sits on that bay there, and you can see I just put some hot glue just to secure that in nicely. So yep. Now the next thing I'm playing with is, now I don't want to have this canopy, but what I want to do is I want to make something that uses the original fasteners. So I could put this back on, I'm just going to cover that. I could put this back on if I want to. So what I made is this, and it fits using, you see the existing holes there, and there's going to be a pin that goes through the top, and that's going to fit like this in here and slot down and so on. It's roughly about there. Still some fine tuning, but I'll get it right very soon. It's very close to, I think I'm probably going to fly this very soon. So it fits like that. From the front you can see what I've done. So there's not much airflow going to be able to go into the fuselage and blow out the rear canopy. What I've got here is I've taken, I think, a 25 and a 28 tooth pinion, and I've modified a servo. I've taken out the potentiometer that's in here and made an external used this external potentiometer, so you can see that I've wired that in there like that, and then I just hot glued it in place. But I'm going to make a bracket to hold that in place properly. As I say, I haven't finished that yet. And this is on then the rudder channel at the moment, but I'm going to put it on my Fat Shark goggles. And then what I have here is this can rotate 360 degrees. And when I let go, or well, should I say, it rotates 180, so I can look back. And then when I let go of the rudder stick, then it automatically goes back to center. I used to have my GoPro, I just have a board here and my GoPro mounted flat on there in some of my other videos that you can see. But now I have made a tilt system to go with this as well. This is just version 1. I've flown this yesterday and works very, very well. Yeah, I've already got another design, building that just now, and it's using a, let's get some focus, using a small bearing on this side, and then a 9-gram servo. So I've made this on my CNC machine as well, and that's gonna fit on there and screw down on that center, but I'll just put it there for just now. And then the idea is that I'm also able to look down, so spin around and look down, and I experimented with this just the other day, and it works really, really nice. So now I don't want to have the downward facing camera that you can put in the center of the fuselage. Now I actually have this mount, and I have my GoPro as my FPV camera, and I can do full 360, and I can also look up and down as well with this tilt system. Yeah. What I've also done, here's an earlier model where the holes weren't in the right place and I had another idea, but what I've also done is I've pressed a bearing in here as well, cut out this semicircle here so that the actual wires that are going to be for the tilt and also for the video out from the GoPro will attach here, and then be able to move backwards and forwards, or yeah, when I spin around, the wires are gonna have something to follow so they don't get tangled. So that's the next part of my build. I think this is almost finished. I haven't flown this design yet, and I want to fly it a couple of times before I offer to build for others. I don't want to build something that potentially crashes your plane. I'd rather crash my own first. But anyway, some ideas. If you've got something like this, you've got the time, copy this design and see how you get on. Bye for now.